our chair, since you did such a good job of teaching us about the inside of the chair, we want to talk a little bit about, you know, similar style chairs, but in very different fabrics.
Because fabric will make a huge difference. Just like if you have your little black dress, or you have a dress that's got a great pattern, you're going to feel different, you're going to look different. And chairs are often real attention getters in rooms. So you do want to think about what you put on them. Again, thank you to Brentwood Classics. They provided us the 3 chairs. This one in a tone-on-tone, anytime you're working with a solid fabric or tone-on-tone fabric like this, you don't lose a lot of waste by pattern matching. So it's a very cost-effective way to go. If you're purchasing from a store and they have different grades of fabric, probably a lot of the least expensive grade are going to be those tone-on-tone fabrics because there's not that wastage. And you can see it gives you a nice classic line. It's really going to be part of a neutral backdrop versus a piece of furniture that's going to grab your attention and steal it.
This is my favorite.
Right. Well, you don't want every piece of furniture cannot be center stage. It just can't. So this is a dining chair, so it's a little bit higher than the other ones, but we picked it because the shapes were the same. But you can see a big transitional difference in terms of just the impact of the chair when you cover it in the plaid.
Great.
So anytime you put a pattern on, particularly something that's a stripe or a plaid, you have to deal with pattern matching. So you want to make sure if you found a chair, because we joke about this all the time, if I'm driving down the street and someone's put a great chair out on the curb, it's going in the back of my car, right? If it's a really good frame, it's going in the back of my car, and I'm going to take it to my upholsterer, and he can do a beautiful job matching a pattern and a print. So a little bit more challenging when you're talking about a plaid, but this gives the chair certainly a bigger visual impression.
Yes.
So this is going to work really well in a room where the walls are neutral. You know, the kind of what Sharon's client, or the viewer who just asked Sharon the question, she's got a very neutral space. In that case, she might need some furniture that's going to get more attention, and certainly a plaid would do that. And when you talk about fabric, you also want to think about scale. This is a big scale pattern. It's not as precise as a plaid, so you're not going to lose as much to wastage, but you do want to be careful when you're adding details. This one had the tufting, that you make sure you know how that tufting is going to impact the pattern. Because you can imagine if this was a narrow stripe, your stripes are going to go all wonky as they reach in toward that button. So you do want to be careful as you're selecting details on a chair like tufting, whether or not that's going to work with the pattern you've actually selected. So by the time you get to the pattern part, that's the fun part.
Yes,
really,
it is.
what
That's
we're paying for is what's inside. That's the most important part. And then you pick your beautiful fabric, and then a wonderful paint color, and you're there.
Yeah,
you're done.
No, I love when you get to the pretty part of decor. It's great. It's fantastic. So speaking of pretty, we got a pretty little announcement to make now. A fantastic contest that's happening. You know, with Kimberly, we do a Dabble show here on Cityline, and of course, Dabble is your online magazine, and you are offering a fantastic opportunity for viewers and followers of Dabble.
Well, we turned 1 year old, and Cityline helped us launch, so we wanted to do something in a contest with Cityline, and we're giving away a trip. Someone's going to win a trip for 2 people to Charleston and Savannah, June 13th through the 17th. We're staying at the Charleston place, which is the most exclusive hotel in town. We have private home tours scheduled and garden tours. So we're going to learn about architecture and wine and sweet tea. And we're visiting the first Black Baptist church in Savannah, which is very cool. And there's a whole Underground Railroad story that's going to go with that. So it's really fun. I'm super excited someone's going to win it. So we want it to be a Cityline viewer who's like all excited about Dabble Mag.
I think they're going to be excited. So this includes flights and accommodations, 5 days, 4 nights, 2 amazing destinations. The value is $11,000. So that's a pretty penny, my friend.
That's good.
The winner is going to be announced March 28th. And so we want you to go to the show guide on our website, Cityline.ca, for a link to enter the Dabble Mag contest. Good luck to you. Yes. Let's go to break. More coming up on Cityline. Stay with us.